All right. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. This is your girl, Crystal XO, and I'm here for another review for King's Court. We know that King's Court is on Peacock, on Bravo, Sundays at 9 o'clock, and we do our reviews every Monday here at 10 p.m. Thank you guys for staying up late. Those of you that have to go to work in the morning, I appreciate you staying up late. Okay, girl. Haitian Empress said, I'm here on time today. I have things to say. I'm sure we all do. I'm going to let a few minutes for people to come into the chat, for people to get into the chat, because this show has continued to show us the foolishness that exists often in the dating world, and I have a lot to say as well. If you missed earlier tonight, I did a review on Heart and Hustle, and it was the episode of Heart and Hustle was so triggering and just, to me, over the top, that I invited Coach LaTanya. Hey, Princess. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I invited Coach LaTanya to talk, and we talked a little bit about King's Court, just because in that episode of Heart and Hustle, there was the conversation of a dysfunctional mother and son relationship between Chloe and her son, Nico. And I mentioned to Coach LaTanya that we talk about situations of parents being more like siblings than parents in this show. We're not gonna hips, hops, hooray, paper bag test Carlos. Wow. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get into we're actually gonna talk about Carlos first, because that's gonna be the question of bonsoir. Bonsoir, hey you there. Thank you so much for your commentary. Coach LaTanya enjoyed it a lot earlier today. Well, a couple hours, actually 15 minutes ago, but we started at 8 o'clock. But come on in, those of you that are here for King's Court. It is time for us to talk about this. We have one more episode of this show, so I expect that there's going to be a lot happening. Tonight's episode, well, last night's episode was, it was very eye-opening, but actually it really just confirmed a lot of things that we already know. Comment vas-tu? Comment ça va? I'm trying to speak the French with hey you there, and Haitian Empress, ça va. Come see, come saw, on this Monday afternoon. But before we get into it, I want to ask a question of the chat. Asking the question of the chat, this is going to be the question for tonight. There is a scene where Carlos shocks and triggers Janae by showing her his DMs. We know that Janae has been Carlos's favorite from the very beginning. He asked her last week to be his girlfriend, and of course she accepted. And like many women, she accepted the question. She accepted what he proposed before actually really thinking about what that entailed. And so what does being Carlos's girlfriend really look like? And then when he showed her his DMs, I think that instead of her seeing it as proof that he really trusts her and he's really 100% into her, it scared her. And I understand why it did. It was, I mean, that has got to be scary, but you also have to know what is coming with that situation, what comes with dating a Carlos Boozer, what comes with that. So my question to my good people here tonight is, do you want to see, would you want to see your significant others DMs? Do you think that that is a sign of trust, or do you think that is a sign of kind of putting them in their place, like trying to show you like, this is what I have going on? Like, would you want to see, or are you the type that feels like, hear no evil, see no evil? Who would want, if you would want to see your significant other's DMs, Put a 1 in the chat if you don't want to see them. Put a 2. Well, actually, you know what? If you want to, put an X. If you don't, put an O in the chat. If you want to see the DMs, put a X. If you do not want to see the DMs, put an O. You know, that I'm interested to see what everyone says. You want to see that? We have 1 of each, 1 X and 1 O. Okay. You want to see them, put an X. If you don't, put an O. Sucker blue. Indeed. Okay. So far, 2 O's and 1 X. Just Courtney wants to see. Mo Catching and Tasha in the desert do not. Claudine says Carlos was most definitely trying to set the stage and low-key testing her. This show, King's Court, seems to be all about testing women. And I do think that was a little bit of a intimidation tactic. I do think that he did not realize that she would take it that way, but showing her all the women that continue reaching out to you, I do not necessarily agree with that as being something positive. I actually agree with Haitian Empress. I definitely agree that it is triggering her, as in I may have picked you as I did not need to pull my paper bag to even test you, but I will keep you on your toes. I agree. Intimidation is definitely what the focus was in that, at least from my perspective. I do want to say that for all practical purposes, it does look like Carlos and Janae are still hanging tight. That is from her Instagram. And I will say this before we even go further than that. You know, we definitely know that there was a lot of colorism, or we feel like there's a lot of colorism on this show, right? That's my opinion and the opinion of a lot of my audience. But in this picture, the reality is Carlos is the same skin tone. They look exactly the same, right? They both look, you know, like they both would pass the paper bag test. So is it fair for people to judge if someone is, you know, whatever you are? My problem is I don't so much have a problem with people like Carlos or people like, I don't know, someone like a Genuine or Boris Kojo. I have a problem with people that look like Thaddeus or people that look like Tyson and their mothers look like recently, not that our audience cares anything about this, but there was a picture of Young Thug and his mom, and then you see his girlfriend. And love is love, but I'm just saying I have a problem when you don't find people that look like the people in your house attractive. But for all practical purposes, Carlos's home could look a lot like Janae, right? So I don't really care about that when it comes to him, because I feel like that's who he is. Like, even when we talk about Chris Brown, you know, Chris Brown looks like the people that he picks. You know, I mean, he's mixed race. He prefers mixed race. I mean, you can't say anything about that. The problem is when people come from something different, in my opinion, and they have an aversion. They don't find beauty. In fact, they find what looks like them unattractive. That's my problem, and that's when I feel like there's, you know, dysfunction and an issue. But yeah, I definitely feel like, and now Haitian Emperor says Carlos is biracial. I believe I don't have a problem with that, but don't come on a black show wasting black women's time. I think the casting agents did that. I think the casting agents wasted a lot of black women's time, specifically a lot of women of color. Yeah, MT69, I understand Chris Brown's mom is black and Indian, but he's even said he's mixed race. You could tell looking at him that he is. So if he likes women that look like himself, I don't care about that. Like, it's just when it's something that's totally different than you. And even then, maybe I don't even, you know, like who you like, but just don't throw stones and make it seem like women that don't look like that are not attractive. That's the problem. Specifically when you may have a daughter that looks like that because you look like that, right? So anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that. And I agree, Carlos does not seem to find beauty in anything darker than him. But I mean, that's if he finds beauty in the mirror, cool. But Haitian Ember said Chris Brown does not look mixed race. You know, he does if you see him up close and personal. His hair definitely suggests mixed race. He does. If you look at him if you get up close on him and not all the other stuff he has going on, you can definitely tell that he's a mixed race. But anyway, that's not even important because we're all melanin is all melanin. I'm just saying as far as like, you know, the preference and all the stuff that we see happening. But so it was pretty much split. Some people think that they would want to see. I would not want to date anyone like that. But I do think she asked a question. Janae asked a question. And that was, are we entertaining the conversation? Because to me, if he is getting this many DMs, right? And I'm sure women are going to DM him, even if he's not out there promoting. But I don't think that you should be interacting with the DMs. If once you decide that you're in a relationship, then there should not be any interaction or engagement, right? And I think sometimes we see engagement and it's like, well, I didn't say anything. Yeah, but if you are engaging, that's a problem. Tasha asked, can DMs be turned off? I don't know that DMs can be turned off, but I do think there can be a level of like, if a man is not entertaining that, even though it may come towards him because he's very public and is very, you know, he's a popular person. He's a former franchise athlete. He's going to have to make it to where those women know that he's not entertaining it. And he's going to have to set a reputation, a new reputation for being in a relationship. But I think that it's really like to almost intimidate and show her what's going on. And then, like I said, it's test. And I feel like this show, there's been a lot of testing. DC says there is only one race, human. There is, but there's a lot of, there's a human race, but then there's a lot of I'm speaking for the fact that we know that forever, Black women have been made to feel like their features and their characteristics physically are wrong or not attractive. And that is a problem when you pit people against. If you have a room full of Black women and you have 5 darker skinned women and 5 lighter skinned women, and none of the darker skinned women get an option or are seen as beautiful or chosen, then that is hurtful and it's unnecessary, because just have the casting agents cast what you want, as opposed to bringing in, you know, all that other stuff. But anyway, I think that's on the casting department's fault, not so much on Carlos. I think he's been divorced 3 times. But you know, hey, we know that people can change and maybe he's serious this time. Time will tell. I did look at her Instagram and she seems to be very, very happy. I showed you guys this picture that she's posted and she's reviewing the show. She's asking people what they think of it. So she looks extremely happy. He looks extremely happy. There was not really much of them talking on this episode besides the DM part. But I just felt like that was not something that he should have shown her. I think that he has to set the standard and really start to create a different pattern. And I feel like if he does that, then he will start to make her feel more comfortable. But showing her all the DMs when you know that she has a past of being cheated on is just not, it just did not seem to be like a positive thing to do. MT69 says Janae was pissed that Carlos was respectfully texting interested women that he had a girlfriend. I do think that texting them is not necessary. I think that silence is more effective, because to me, as a woman, if you try to say something to a man and he lets you know he has a girlfriend, the fact that he's even interacting, it just suggests, like for myself, if I'm out someplace and a guy is trying to talk to me, I'm just not going to entertain it. But once you say, well, I'm married, you know, then it's like, okay, but you can't have a friend. Like, it just keeps going. It keeps going. So The Stacy says she agrees with MT69 that Janae is a trip. I think Janae is she's insecure. But what's interesting, she's not that insecure because she wants to date Carlos. So if you really had an issue with men that have that much attention, then you would not be on a reality show looking for love. Can we just call a spade a spade? Can we just say it? There was somebody said, I think it was Hey You There, said and earlier tonight, like, we cannot be feeling sorry for people that are signing up for these things. So if you signed up to be in a relationship with someone who is a celebrity, someone that you're going to find on a reality show, then you really can't be that worried about infidelity. Infidelity cannot be your biggest concern if you're trying to date someone of that caliber. It just feels kind of counterproductive if you have an issue with cheating, right? And why would you want to date someone like that? And I know a lot of women do that. I've been around celebrities a long time, and a lot of women get with one and they're angry that the guy is getting so much attention. And it's like, you knew this. And the average man who works at UPS can have a lot of options. Of course, Carlos Boozer has unlimited options. You know what I mean? It just is too weird. Nola says, is it insecure? It comes with a lot of BS. I feel like the reason that you're actually want to date someone like that is a question for me. Because if you really have issues with cheating, why go after a man who, number one, has had issues with cheating in his past, and number two, is going to always have continuous access because of who he is? If you really don't want a man who's cheating or who has the potential to cheat, then you date someone that's not. Okay, hold on. MT69 has something to share with us. She says, Crystal, I had an ex who texted and called women and it was chill. The one he didn't call because his friend said to just ghost and rolled up to his house when I was there and she almost got arrested. Yikes. Yikes. Not she rolled up to the house. Girl, who was you dating? Who was you dating? Not the girl just rolled up to the house. Jeez. Janae wanted the lifestyle. That's exactly what she wanted. And the lifestyle comes with consequences and repercussions, right? So you can't get the Carlos Boozer without getting the groupies. You just can't. Like, you know, any guy that's in the limelight, like I said, a man who works at UPS and earns, you know, a modest salary can act a fool. So, you know, a man at that type of stature, with that type of stature, is going to be a problem. And you cannot separate the lifestyle from the women. The women are attracted to the lifestyle, much like yourself. You were attracted to the lifestyle, and so they are also attracted to the lifestyle, and they are coming. And they're never going to stop coming because what you potentially have what they want. So that's just a part of it. So I feel like any woman who wants to date a man that is in the limelight, a celebrity or a professional athlete, you really should be okay with a lot of other women being around. Most of the women that I know that are in those situations, with the exception of a couple, are women who cheating is not a deal breaker for them, because that is a part of that lifestyle. Very often, that's a part of the lifestyle. Do we want to believe that there's a man out there that looks like Tyson Beckford that's not going to be a cheater? We want to believe that. However, the reality is that's going to be very, very difficult to find, if at all. So if you really want, if monogamy and infidelity are huge issues for you, then you would not be going on a reality show to find a celebrity to date. It's just my thoughts. M6, I said I dated a Tyson who got a lot of female attention because he was ruggedly handsome and charming. He had a lot of women before I came along, and he was honest with me. But see, I think that's what I'm saying. The average guy who doesn't even have a check like that, who's not even on television, who doesn't have a history, who doesn't have famous friends, who can have those type of issues. So that's a whole nother level. And if you can't take the heat, you should probably get out of the kitchen. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And I think that Janae is saying that. I think she also just kind of wants him to be hers. And they are going on about his hips. The Haitian Empress said, "Hip hip hooray!" You know what? And if I say something about it on the replay, people are going to get on me about, "Oh, Crystal, your body shaming," and all that. I'm just reading the comments, and it was brought to me. It was brought to me, and I just happened to do a little research, but it was brought to me. I did not know, because I just feel like he's so tall. But yeah, hey, if he has hips, Janae's okay with it, and most women are probably okay with it. But those of you that are not okay with it, stay away from the hips. Okay, there are many men who have hips, just like there are many women who don't have them. And it's okay. It's just beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So we're going to move. We're going to pivot from the hips. We're going to talk about Tyson last, because I know we've all seen this coming. Nobody is surprised. We know this was coming. So let's talk about our good friend Thaddeus. Every week we have seen Thaddeus have some type of confrontation, some type of obstacle test for a woman to get to jump over. I actually was not really confident in his relationship with Dr. Khaliah, because of the fact that he has been so they've had such a we've seen a lot of rockiness with the two of them, with her saying that she feels like he's her husband. I don't feel like that was an attractive thing for her to do. I feel like he definitely held that against her, but we didn't see that, right? We didn't see him do that. I have no proof, because he didn't say that he didn't see it. He did seem a bit thrown off, but she said that she saw him as her husband based on her vision board. He was a bit taken aback, but he didn't say no. I felt like she was sealing her fate. So at this point in time, Thaddeus has to pick between Dr. Khaliah, who's a pediatrician, and Ariel, who is a physical therapist and also has a PhD. So he's been clear about wanting to date women that are very accomplished and very successful. He seems to like the prototype of like the accomplished, what I would call alpha female. However, he also seems to have a lot of problems with them and likes to put them through tests. And every week we have seen that between him and Dr. Shawana, them two getting into it over her checking him over him calling her aggressive. And then he told Ariel that he didn't like the fact that she was trying to do the my man thing. And then he and Khaliah have just had some very uncomfortable conversations. He also brought his ex, who is his best friend, who actually takes care of his children. It just feels like there's been Thaddeus is a type that he like plants a lot of mines in a field to see if you can jump over them, and then if you don't, then he's gonna penalize you for it, or he wants to watch how you navigate. And I don't like that. I like him. We like the fact that he's able to articulate. But tonight, when I talked to Coach LaTanya earlier, she said that men that have issues with their mothers, and we know that he's been very open and honest about his trauma and with his mother, and the fact that his mother had him as a result of sexual assault. And that obviously colored their relationship. She was very young. They kind of grew up together. He had a lot of anger and resentment towards her, which later, when he was able to process it and understand what happened, he was able to forgive her. And he says they have a great relationship. One of the things that Coach LaTanya said is that men like that have issues with their mothers are always going to, or one of the things they tend to do is pick apart the woman. And that stood out to me because I was like, wow. I immediately mentioned Thaddeus. We were talking about another situation on Heart and Hustle, but that is what he does. He picks the women apart. He's trying to test them. He's trying, and I think to an extent, most men, if they're thinking about being with the woman seriously, they are going to try to make sure that she's more than just beautiful, right? But he seems to have a different level. The way he walked out on Catherine, it just feels like it's a little bit more toxic, than the regular situation. And hearing her say that, I did feel like it's like nobody can please him, because he's going to constantly keep trying to test you and pick you apart, because maybe he wasn't able to hold his mother accountable, is what what Coach Latanya said. And so he's going to do that with the women. And I know that from even men that I'm friends with, or that I haven't had has been a part of my life, that have mother issues. A lot of time they are very critical of women, extremely critical of women. I'm just thinking of several right now. They're always very, very critical of women. And that really makes sense, because they were not able to. You cannot be critical of your parent. Like, you can, but it won't work. They're in a role that's over you, so you kind of have to take what you could get. But when they are in a relationship with a woman, then they have the upper hand, and they can try to, like, put her through the things that they probably wish their mother could have went through. And even if you're not trying to, I feel like a lot of times, until that's totally healed, and sometimes maybe it's never ever healed. But with Thaddeus, I love the fact that he is able to speak to it. But like we said last week, like, I think there's still some things that he needs to work through. So let's talk a little bit about what happened on the show. So Holly and Rodney actually sat down with each of the couples, right, to see where they were, because obviously they needed to sit down with Tyson, because he was still unable to make up his mind. And I think he just didn't want to send people home. He enjoyed the attention. But for Thaddeus, and really for Thaddeus, the only person that was left, because Carlos had already booed up and asked Janae to be his girlfriend. Like, he did the "will you go with me, yes or no," which I love. I love when guys do that. I think that's super sweet. But when they sat down, when Holly sat down, first they sat down with him and Ariel. And like I said, I honestly felt like Thaddeus was really leaning more towards Ariel, because I know that she leads more with her sexuality. He's really voiced being physically attracted to her. And I felt like, because of all the tension that he's had with Dr. Khaliah, he was definitely more locked in with Ariel. Now, last week we saw, Ariel be a little irritated at his interaction with Khaliah, when Khaliah came through, naked, or with a towel around her, and she gave him a kiss on the cheek. You can tell that they've kind of started to get their own little connection going, but we haven't seen any dates. We saw them on the G-Wagon group date, but still we haven't really seen them kind of rebound from that awkward place they were in. So when he sat down with Ariel, and they asked Ariel, is she falling in love with him? And she says yes. Of course, I hate that all the women are going to say yes, right? I just hate, sometimes just being a woman is just, now true, some of it is game. Women's game and men's game is different, but usually women fall a little faster, especially in a situation like this. And then they ask him, is he falling in love with Ariel? And he does not. He does give Holly almost like he doesn't want to be asked that question. I don't think he wanted to be asked that question at all, period, because he's very locked into, we have to trust the process. And I do feel like he's in his head a lot. He's trying to be so smart and make the best decision. But he says that he's on the way, right? He says he's on the way with Ariel. So I went into this episode thinking that Thaddeus was more into Ariel, right? And I thought that was purely based on physicality. So then they sit down with him and Khaliah. And I'm not going to lie, it surprised me. You guys let me know if you agree. But it surprised me that he said, now, he wanted to warn her, don't get too happy, right? Don't get too happy. But I love her as a person because he loves her heart and, you know, who she is as a person. I was like, whoa, I did not expect him to say that. And he made it very clear that he is not in love with her, but that he loves who she is. And I think that would be all I would need. Like, in love, the reality of in love is kind of like, you know, that's kind of like a lustful thing, like excited, endorphins running, but that doesn't last forever. Now, yes, MT69 points out that Thaddius and even Rodney and Holly were like, dude, enough, like get out of your head. They were asking her, they asked her, she immediately, before they even asked her, she was like, well, I love him too. And I was like, girl, oh my gosh, like women, we are always just signing ourselves up for the overhurt thing, but it's an overhurt position. But she's like, I love him. And they were like, so are you, and I'm falling in love with him. And then he was like, don't fall, because fall. And then Rodney and Holly were like, dude, and like the word play and all that, it's too much. He's in his head too much, trying too hard not to be hurt, trying too hard to protect himself, just doing the most. And I think that is because of his trauma, right? And when you add trauma to immense success, I think it can amplify it in a way, because you have all your toxic traits and hurt, right? You've managed to amass a lot of success. So now you don't know if people want you for you or not, and you're judgmental and you're hesitant and you're suspicious. It just adds a lot of fuel to the fire, even though everybody wants to be successful. I think when you have a lot of toxicity and trauma, success can add to that and make it more of a negative. It can become more of a negative thing, right? Because then it's like, now I don't trust anybody because I have this success, where before you might have felt like, okay, maybe this person likes me for me, but you get to that level, that immense level, like Thaddeus is, and all these guys, and it's difficult to trust anybody, and you kind of don't get held accountable for your BS, right? Because you do have that much success. So he makes it clear that he doesn't believe in falling in love, because that's uncontrollable. He believes in walking in love, or walking towards love, I guess, because he wants it to be something that you're doing intentionally and slowly. But he also has admitted, that he falls fast. So all this rhetoric is not true. It's not true. All this rhetoric that Thaddeus is doing, that's not Thaddeus. That's Thaddeus. Thaddeus is doing he's trying really, really, really hard to protect himself, and also to, you know, get the best out of this show. I do think that he's sincere, though. I think that everybody on this show is sincere except for Tyson. And I just think Tyson doesn't know how to be sincere, but I do think Thaddeus is sincere. But I also agree with you, Haitian. I think he's trying to sound profound, but I think that he really is trying to make the best decision. And I think between the two women here of Ariel and Dr. Khaliah, I think he has women that he really believes that he can respect, right? Like, he has women he can respect, but also that he's attracted to. Now, did you guys catch Khaliah going to snuggle with him on the couch and lay down with him and take a nap? It pissed Ariel off, because she was like, how is he going to say that he's moving towards falling in love with me and then go snuggle up on the couch with Khaliah? First of all, Khaliah came and snuggled up with him. Second of all, girl, you didn't know that he said he loved her. So it made perfect sense to us, but just not to her. But it also did show me that he and Khaliah have really connected in a different way, just for the fact that she was able to do that, because she's not the type that is going to do something like that until she feels a little bit safe, because she is still guarding herself. And he did ask her about that. He is always putting women through a test. Like as soon as Rodney and Holly asked, do you want to ask her? And yes, he's testing. And I would be interested to know about his past relationships. I also would be interested to know, how he feels his past history with his mom has affected his relationships with women, because he's able to explain it and express it so articulate, to articulate it so well. But I don't know if he's able. Somehow you can articulate what the pain has been, but you may not understand how it keeps revisiting you, right? And so it is. The testing is annoying, and I have gone out with men that have done that, and I've gotten annoyed and I've moved on. And then sometimes they don't test you until it becomes more serious. Some test you in the dating stage, and others wait till you're locked in a relationship and it's testing. But I never realized that was a symptom of a man that has mother wound issues, and that was a huge revelation to me. If you didn't watch the earlier conversation with myself and Coach Latanya, please watch that. It was really insightful. I think that he is cool with his mom now. Yes, he said that he's cool with his mom, but that doesn't mean that his scars are not there, that the scars of what he dealt with growing up are not there. And so sometimes, and it's another thing, sometimes children, even when we're adults, we don't want to penalize our parents. So a child, speaking of that, did you guys see that Netflix show, the Catfish show on Netflix? I don't know if anybody saw it, but long story short, a mother, basically, it is found out that this mother is texting her daughter with ridiculous text, like traumatizing, and her daughter, they think it's someone at the school that's like stalking her and trying to hurt her, telling her she's ugly, she should kill herself. Turns out it's her mom. Don't want to go into this. But the point is, the mother goes to prison for a little less than 2 years because of what she's done. And the daughter still doesn't want to say, I'm angry at my mom. That show was diabolical, and it was crazy. I hate that I even watched that show. It pissed me off so much. But that is part of the parent-child dynamic. Parents can be abusive. Parents can be all types of things to children, and because they're the parent, you still end up wanting their approval and their validation. The show is called Catfish. You put in Catfish on Netflix. It's a Catfish of some high school, and I hate that I just told y'all the ending. I'm sorry, but that's what happened. You're gonna watch it and you're gonna be furious that it's the mom, because I watched it this past weekend and Shay told me to watch it, and I watched it, and I was just like, oh my God, I hate that I wasted. Shay and my daughter were like, watch it. And I'm texting them angrily when they're asleep, like, why did you I cannot believe this. This is wild. Who does it? It was just crazy. But point is, yes, Joda, an unhealed parent can be a child's first bully. And so even if Thaddeus is cool with his mom now, those scars that were put on him during childhood are those scars are there from that pain. So that could be what's happening in his relationships with women, because all of us have something, even if we didn't grow up with dysfunctional parents. Everybody has something, and whatever you have is going to come out in a romantic relationship. Whatever you have is going to come out. When you date several men at once, you're too busy concerning yourself with one of them doing dating. The testing is annoying, and I've literally experienced that. I've had one guy tell me, he actually sent me an email later. One guy sent me an email and told me he went to therapy and he realized some of the things I told him were true. Another guy actually called me and said, I went to therapy and I realized a lot of things that you were telling me. I had issues with my mom. And that's what it was. His mom was just she was very emasculating to him. And so he was testing all women. So women, let's don't let men test us, or let's understand where that's coming from. But I think that's definitely the case when it comes to Carlos. Now, as I said, I did not think that he really had a connection with Dr. Khaliah, but I think I was wrong when it came to that situation. I do think they do. I just don't think that she would fit into his lifestyle. I really don't. I really don't think that I think that she's too rigid. You know, at the end of the day, she's a pediatrician who's been to, what is she, go to Stanford or something like that? She's very, very rigid. I think that she wants to try, she wants to leap, but I think who he is, just his whole background and who he shows up as, I just don't see them being a good match. Ariel, I don't think is necessarily there for the right reasons. And I think that he probably can see that. If you guys remember, Ariel was kind of open to Tyson, and I probably would have been open to Carlos too. She was not necessarily locked into Thaddeus. She was definitely open. And I think Khaliah was more focused on Thaddeus. I mean, she wouldn't have been attracted to anybody else there, and nobody else there would have been attracted to her. But Ariel actually tried to, she actually said, and I'm not trying to hold this against her, but she was like, I want to come over and meet you, you know, to Tyson. So I feel like she's more like would do better with his lifestyle, because she actually loves the celebrity part of it. Even though she's a physical therapist, you know, she's very into the entertainment vibe, where Khaliah to me is not. She's very displaced on this show. How she dresses, how she shows up does not feel like someone that would be a good match for him. I think she's very classy, but I don't think that she would fit with Thaddeus. That being said, we'll see. Next week is the finale, so it will be the ending of this show, and we'll see who he picks. Let's go ahead and put our votes in. If you think that Thaddeus is going to pick Khaliah, put Dr. K in the comments. And if you think that he's going to pick Ariel, then put an A in the comments. Let me know. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, let me know who you think Thaddeus is going to pick. I don't know. I was really sure until he said he loved Khaliah. Well, he loved who she was as a person. I don't know, because he's very intentional. He's very intentional. So he wouldn't have, I don't think he would have said that if he didn't mean it, right? I don't think he's like blowing smoke up people's behind like Tyson. I think he really, really meant that. And I think there's a reason why he did not say that he loved Ariel. He said he loved himself. He's going to pick himself. Could be. I think he's going to pick somebody. And at this point, I'm going to say Dr. Khaliah, just because, I don't know, because him saying that, I think there's something to that, but I don't know. I really think that he does have a real strong chemistry with Ariel, but I'm going to go with Dr. Khaliah, because how can he say that he loves her? I don't think he would say that if he wasn't feeling a stronger connection. And when they even came together as a couple, they looked really in sync. They looked more in sync than he and Ariel did. And that's the first time I've seen that all season. I really didn't think that they were, but this is that scene. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I'm going to say Dr. Khaliah. Obviously, we know that Carlos is locked in with Janae. Now let's get to this foolishness with Tyson. The entire season, we have known that Tyson was there as eye candy for the women that are watching, and also, hold on. We've known that Tyson was there as hold on. Hold on. Oh. But he has not, he's kind of skated by. We knew he was playing in our faces. He was there as eye candy. He was there enjoying all the attention from the ladies. He wants all the attention. I feel like at times he would kind of get pouty if he wasn't getting everybody's attention. Because I feel like he really, it was almost like a little bit of a competition for him. And I think that we finally uncovered, we got proof of what we already knew. So I told you guys last week, and the week before, we've been talking about this. I don't know where that matchmaker came from that said that Allison was his perfect match. There is nothing about Allison and Tyson that are a perfect match at all. That was the most ridiculous matchmaking ever. In fact, everybody that she said, I don't like anything that she said except for Khaliah with Thaddeus. And really, I don't think that Khaliah was best with Thaddeus. I feel like Dr. Shawana would have been a better fit for him, because even though she was intelligent and had all this going on, she seemed like she was a little bit more flexible than Dr. Khaliah. But that matchmaker was not good. They just got her stats could not have been true. But there's nothing about Allison that fits Tyson. And I honestly don't think Jennifer, she said that Jennifer fit with Carlos. I don't even believe that. Like, Jennifer she's not as sweet as she tries to be. She's definitely there for a come up. But, I don't believe that she was a good fit for her. I think she was a better fit for Tyson, if anything. But it's not. She was not 86% accurate. She was not nothing accurate, because we are not professional matchmakers, and we knew that Tyson would not date Allison. Like, there's nothing about Tyson that would date Allison. Nothing. The fact that she's an opera singer and he's a model, that's not even the same type of hype. Like, it's not like now if she was an R&B singer, that would be different. If she was like not an opera singer, but if she was like a popular R&B singer, then that would have been a better fit. But an opera singer, all he keeps saying that she's classy and I respect her musical talent. That is not a relationship. She did look too old for him, but Tyson is way older than he looks. He looks the youngest on the show, and he's 54. So I don't know what type of fountain of youth he is, locked into, but he definitely does not look 54 years old at all. So it's kind of hard to say that she looks too old for him, because she's not. She's not. She's actually age appropriate. She just isn't energy appropriate, because she's a grown person and Tyson is still a boy, in a 54, which is crazy. But all right, so she and Tyson, it's been clear that he's not attracted to her, right? It has been clear to us that he is not attracted to her. And so he told her last week, which leads me to believe more, that Tyson just likes attention. I think he doesn't want to hurt people's feelings, but he also just likes a lot of attention, right? So he told her that he was looking forward to getting to know her better. I knew that was a lie. I knew that was a lie when he said it, and then she was excited. Even the way she responded, he was like, Felicia and I have a connection, a physical, and I just want to see if there's that for us. The way she responded was not one that Tyson would respect. It just did. She didn't. I think she touched his hand, but she presents like an opera singer, right? I think who you are is who you are. And so she was like, I look forward to seeing if you're able. Like, girl, that is not him. He is not that. He's not. He is a pretty boy that is Jamaican. He's with that energy that she's not. And so when they come into this episode where they're sitting down, they really had no business sitting down they had no business sitting down with Holly and hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. Work is continued on that yet. Work is continuing to come in. So they had no business sitting down with them. Now, also, what I've learned about this show, which is weird. Yes, Tyson is Jamaican. She overheard him talking with the guys about there being some girls, but a specific girl at the gym that he was really into, right? Now, who cares? Because he's not into her. Even if the girl at the gym didn't exist, Felicia and Jennifer are at the house and he's into them. He's not into you. So the fact that she was upset about hearing that, I can understand her being upset, but I can't understand her being hurt because he wasn't even talking to you in the house. In the house, you don't even need to worry about the gym. In the house, you got these two. So, but she probably is all about principle and, again, she don't belong on this show. She did not belong on the show. Dr. Khaliah didn't belong on the show and she don't belong on the show. But saying that she was upset and she felt betrayed and now she feels like because Tyson said that he's attracted to, he got a girlfriend at the gym. Of course he does. Do I think Tyson was joking? No. Do we think Tyson has girls at the gym that he's flirting with and probably interacting, engaging with? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it doesn't even matter because he never was you were never a factor, ever. He's never shown you that. So, and again, if you guys were closer and then like Felicia, I could see being upset with that, but Felicia don't care. Felicia's just trying to leave the house with Tyson and be around some more celebrities. She don't care about that. But the fact that Allison brought it up and tried to like prove that he was like being, misleading and deceptive, I felt like that was kind of weird on her part because he wasn't he said that, but she should have just left or something. I don't know, but trying to bring it up and show how he was being deceptive, it really backfired, right? It backfired on her. What I want to talk about is the fact of Tyson's reaction. Tyson's reaction is one of a spoiled brat who does not like women who hold him accountable for anything, right? He got so upset at the fact that she brought up the fact that he was joking with the other guys about another woman, that he took it out on the other girls. And it was the most immature, just narcissistic exhibition as I've ever seen. Like, I'm going to punish you guys because someone actually called me on my BS. Now, should Allison have been the one to call him out? No. And even her having a conversation with Janae, I just was like, why do girls, if a guy doesn't like you, you pointing out that he's being deceptive is not going to work. Like, that doesn't matter. He's just not into you. So just, that's the thing. Just to, like Lexi with Carlos, like, well, I don't think it's fair. A lot of them have done that on this show. I don't think it's fair that you're not spending time with me. He doesn't like you. Life is not fair. That's just, again, maybe y'all should have all been raised by Capricorns. But it's just, he don't like you. So it doesn't matter if he's being deceptive or not. He does not like you. The only time you need to be worried about him being deceptive is if he likes you, because then you're going to have to deal with the deceit. If he doesn't like you, you don't have to deal with the deceit because you're not even in the running. Allison is not even going to have to deal with the deceit because he don't like her. The people that need to be concerned about the fact that he was talking to girls at the gym are really just Felicia, because Jennifer is just there. I actually think that he would make a better fit for her because I think Felicia is so focused on being a celebrity and so focused on how beautiful she is. The two of them are like the same person. They are the same thing. I think Jennifer would give him a little bit of the look that he likes, and she's laid back and she's young enough to where she's not going to hold him accountable either, because she's talking about he's the juicy steak that she wants to see. She just wants to be with a fine black man that's got some money and some status. Felicia also wants to be the diva in the relationship, and Tyson wants to be the diva too. Jennifer will allow him to be the diva. Felicia probably wants to be the diva herself, and that's going to cause problems. So my thing is, I think he actually should pick Jennifer, but who knows what's going to happen with Tyson. But the fact that he took his anger at being called out on the girls that actually like him is wild. That was wild. Like, he came in there and was like, oh, thank you, princess. I'm still working with these, still getting used to it, but thank you so much. But the fact that he came in there and told them, at this rate, I think I'm going to go home by myself. It's like, what, they've been kissing your behind the whole time, and now you're trying to make them kiss it more by, by threatening to leave. That was crazy. Tyson wants to be the boyfriend and the girlfriend, and does, and will be. I do think Jennifer is used to guys pursuing her, especially probably black guys. But I also think Felicia is used to used to guys pursuing her as well. She's very pretty and checks all the boxes that celebrity guys are looking for. And so I think both of them are used to it. But I think that Felicia is a little bit more, I just think she's a little bit more, I guess, worldly. Jennifer is more like an alternative. Like, she's more of a zen, like he said, her zen, she's more laid back. Felicia wants to be in the place, got the, what is the situation? She wants to be in the limelight for herself. Jennifer probably would be happy just being alongside him. Hey, D Glove. Hey, twin. So I think that those two it's going to be a problem with him. This entire season, he wants everything on him. And if you guys realize, Tyson has played the victim in numerous situations. So when it came out that girl had Sada had the past with R. Kelly. Yes, I don't think that's something that most people want to be involved in, but he just, oh my God, this hit me like a brick. How could she do this to me? Everything is about him. He is so focused on himself. He is the picture of a narcissist. Like that, everything is about him. Everything is for him. He wants all the attention to be on him, even to the point where the other guys are starting to say little things about it. And I don't think either one of them come off as like the petty type, but I think Tyson is just so different than them. They're just like, what is going on? What is he doing? So I'm sure that there is a girl at the gym. The fact Felicia is just saying what she knows the camera and Tyson want to hear. She's going to stick by her man. She's going to stick beside him because she wants to go home with him. Jennifer just doesn't, she's probably just not even there. And I think she sees what's going on, but she's also just very laid back. But then they both know that Tyson is talking to girls everywhere. That's just what he wants. All the girls that were in the house, do you know how many girls he was not really interested in, but he would give them enough to keep them chasing him? He wants them to just chase him. So I think that there is, Haitian says, I think there was a lady in that Tyson is here for the money. I don't even think he's there for the money because, this is not, trust me, they're not getting paid a lot of money. I think he's there for the look, right? To be on Bravo every Sunday, because that actually is more valuable than the talent fee that you get, because you get exposure and more opportunities and other things come from that. MT69 said Jennifer appears to be on edibles on the show, and does, but I also think that is why she's just kind of like laid back and not really pressed. But I think that actually would be better for him. But I also think he's going to move through it. He's not trying to be in a real relationship. He's on this show for attention and to get more women. And probably the fact that this increases his exposure, so there'll be even more women in his DMs. But he's not serious about either of them. It's funny that, and yes, being relevant in this decade. Right. I agree. You guys, people that were born in the 90s and early 2000s, they did not grow up seeing those Polo Ralph Lauren ads. They don't know nothing about that. I don't even think there are like male supermodels now. So they don't know. He doesn't have the same type of impact, on people now. So he wants to put himself back out there, and this has done that. But I think that it's clear that he has never been serious about this show. He's not serious about any of the girls. The fact that he told his friend told him that Felicia it seems sexual only, physical only. That's crazy. And he's going to hold that against her. You guys see he's holding it against her because he's done touched all on her, kissed all on her. They done did everything possible. We know. I would be willing to bet money that they've done some stuff. They've done whatever they've done. But now that she's speaking up for herself, he's going to turn her into a villain. He's going to make himself a victim. He's going to keep doing that. Anytime a woman calls him out on his BS, he's going to make himself the victim and make them seem like they're bullying him or they're pressuring him, and he doesn't like that, and that's a red flag. It's full of it. It's full of it. Hey, you there says he was introduced to us young millennials through America's Next Top Model. But that's still not the same as those polo ads, because those were special. On America's Next Top Model, he was nice looking, but I'm telling y'all, that was a whole different. That's how he got to be, you know. And the crazy thing is, Black women loved him, and he never loved us. Never did. Bree said on an interview they signed a contract not to have sex or intimate. I don't care what they say. They say that on every show, and on every show they still do it. So I don't believe that. Yes. And did I forget? Oh, you know what? I forgot to bring you guys. I'm gonna pull it right now because I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna let you. I said I was gonna show y'all for those of you that did not see it. Yeah, but yeah, that victim blaming, you know, becoming a victim was crazy, and the way that he did that at the end with Felicia was wild, and it makes me feel like I think that Tyson is going to pick Jennifer, and I think that he's going to pick Jennifer, and Felicia's going to be upset. He's going to not want to. Oh wow, man! So I did not know he did a cameo in a video with Lizzo. My God, and still looks the same. My goodness. But anyway, but in Toni Braxton's video, that was one of the first times that he was introduced to the audience, you know, the urban audience like that, and it was a really big deal. But hey, they don't have the images. I thought I could get some of the stills, but they don't have those. But I'm telling y'all, it was something to behold. But he is never going to grow up because he's been able to get away with this. He's been able to get away with it, and he's been able to keep having women. Women are still going to, you know, young, beautiful women are still, well, first of all, you don't even got to be young and beautiful. Women are still going to deal with him because he looks like that. So it doesn't matter if he's not going to date women that are his age because he doesn't want to have to be held accountable. And when the young ones hold him accountable, he's just going to drop them. He's just going to drop them because it's not, he's not going to put up with it. And I don't think he's going to have to. If he looks like that at 54, he may always look like that. That may just be how he looks for the rest of his life. And so what you have to do is just, you know, he's not for real. He's not for anything other than eye candy. And I think women that realize that will be better off. But until they do, they're just gonna have to, you know. Hold on, I'm trying to pull this clip for y'all so you can see. I don't have one of him on the motorcycle, but I did find one of him from that video. And I just want you guys, because everybody's like, oh, this is how he looks now. But can you imagine if he looks like this at 54? Can you imagine? He's beyond for the streets. He may be for the world. Like, that was him in the Toni Braxton video. So and I think he died in the video. It was dramatic AF. But yeah, he's never gonna stop. He's not anywhere close to growing up or being serious or any of that stuff. So I predict that he's going to pick Jennifer because Felicia is bucking back. You know, she's went along with it. She gave up probably everything from the right side of the cookies to the left, and maybe they didn't, but I would think that they had. But even if they didn't, she's definitely let him do a lot, right? Nola, he looks, Nola, he definitely, no, I can't find any photo, but before the finale next week, I'll try to bring more for you guys. But no, it was very good then. But the point is, it's only that. It's not anything else. And I mean, a lot of models, that's kind of what he's made his life at. What you do and who you are, become who you are. So he is, we remember Hello Yellow. We remember all of that. But yeah, Felicia's bucking back, so she gonna get out of there because he's not gonna deal with that. And then Jennifer's gonna win by default. But I think when he saw Jennifer, he really wanted to pick her. He was just Felicia. He's been touching all on Felicia all this time, so it was kind of weird because of him doing all the touching, right? And so all that, and they have this they've created like a physical chemistry there. Oh my goodness. Haitian Empress Wago said that he is not, again, aging like Clarice. You may ask why Clarice had to catch a stray, and my answer just because. Tyrese, Lord Jesus. I may be going to see Genuine, Tyrese, and Tank this weekend. I will let you guys know. I will definitely come back and report if things are as horrible as they look on the internet with Genuine doing these very strange dances. And Tyrese, I've seen in concert so many times, and I used to be a Tyrese fan because I did think that he and Tyson were both very attractive. But after interacting with both of them, I lost all attraction for them completely. Tyrese at this point is not attractive at all to me. Like, I can't even look at him and find attraction because of just interacting with him. TGT, I don't think they're back together. I think they're doing this performance here in Atlanta. But I'll let you guys know how that goes. I'm going to rate this episode, which was Rumor Has It. I'm going to rate this episode a 7. I think it was good to see the difference between Ariel and Khaliah with Thaddeus. I also didn't expect him to flip like that. Tyrese, we know Tyrese cried. We don't want to talk about Tyrese. Haitian, you should not even have brought him up. I despise him. But I did see him at church. So I guess maybe I don't, God can help everybody. He's been in church. So hopefully he, stays there. But I give this episode a 7. I think that it's going to be interesting to see Thaddeus. I do feel like Thaddeus is legit. I feel like he is serious, even if he's not sincere. Like, I think he's serious. I just don't think he's ready. He's not ready for no reason. Definitely not with no Dr. Khaliah. Maybe with Ariel. But what more do you want from me? Oh my gosh. That's so funny that you guys say that, because I used to think of them like they were both like chocolate attractive men from the 90s. But how disappointing was that on both sides? But yeah, I think that obviously, Carlos and Janae are going to stay together. Let's look at this picture of the two of them one more again. They look really cute together. I'm not a hater. I like them together. But Shauna says Thaddeus's match is not there. I think Thaddeus's match was Dr. Shawana. I don't know why he let her go. I would love to hear him talk about that. But I really do think that was the best match for him. Because like I said, I think that she seemed a little bit more flexible for his lifestyle. And he needs somebody with a little kick to them, because he is a 6'8" man that fights in tiny underwear. You're gonna need a not super conservative woman, right? And then I think that Tyson is gonna go home by himself, or he's gonna pick Jennifer and then go home by himself after he does that. And then Thaddeus, I feel like he'll pick Dr. Khaliah, but I don't think it'll work, because I think he just has too much going on. Tyson is probably going to be back for another season if they do another season of King's Court. I still think they did a good job of casting this season, because I think these are guys that we don't expect to see. And I think it's enabled us to have some of these type of conversations that we would not have been able to have with other guys. Like, I think we saw depth from Carlos and Thaddeus that we don't see from most Black men on television. And then I also think that Tyson just looks better than Black men on television. So, you know, if you're going to give eye candy, make it real. Don't make it the fake eye candy. And then I love the fact that we are actually being able to see real conversations. We've seen Black men show up and handle themselves as such, like actually asking questions and, you know, participating and being engaged in conversation. They may not be perfect, but I feel like it's more than we've seen from other Black men on reality shows. I think it's very difficult to get a mature man that's going to be willing to sign up for reality TV. So the fact that these guys are doing that, I do think that he has some good traits. I think he's a good person overall. I think he's inspirational to see what he's been able to overcome. And I also don't think that it's bad that he, you know, or still has scars. I think all of us have scars from what we've gone through, you know. So, and his were extreme. I mean, to go through something like that, one of the things that Coach LaTanya said that really stuck out to me is when someone has been a product of SA, right, or RA, you know, they, in their cellular identity, they feel like they're not supposed to be here, or they're bad. They're a product of something that was criminal and that was hurtful. And I think even though it's not true, I think a lot of times that's a lot to get over. I mean, look at people that have been, you know, just products of relationships that went bad. And a lot of times you feel like your parent, you know, would have been better off if you weren't there, or you made things worse. Some kids think that they're the cause of their parents breaking up. So imagine if you know that you were conceived through a crime. You know, that's a lot to overcome. And then to overcome it and to be able to be successful, and then to be able to articulate and work through that, that's huge. We got to give it up to him. We got to give it up to him. I'm definitely, you know, was very impressed with him. I wish him the best. I hope that he does find love. I hope that he figures out whatever else he has to do, you know. And I do appreciate him showing this example of a positive, of a Black man that's gone through extreme trauma and has been able to overcome it in a positive way, you know. And then the fact that he wants to give back to other young men, like there's way more positive with Thaddeus than negative, way more positive. You know, I just want to know the truth of why he didn't pick Dr. Shawana. That's what I want to know. That is my question for him. So we need to, and yeah, still needs therapy and does. And most of us do, you know, most of us, it is an ongoing process for most people. So we can't judge them harsher than we would judge ourselves. Right. So with that being said, I'm going to give it a 7. I gave you guys my predictions. If you're watching this in the replay, let me know what your predictions are. What would you rate tonight's, Sunday night's episode of King's Court? We have one more to go. So next week, be prepared to have a good time. We're going to have some fun for the finale. We're going to, you know, run it back and talk about all the things this season that we liked or didn't like. We'll do that next Monday at 10 after watching the finale on Sunday. So make sure you tune in for that. If you didn't get a chance to see my conversation with Coach LaTanya about Heart and Hustle, I would suggest you do that, because it definitely could add a little bit of perspective into some of the things that we see happening specifically with Thaddeus on this show. But all right, I love you guys for watching. It's the first day of the week. Well, it's the second day of the week, actually. Monday's the second day of the week. We're going to get out of here before it's the third day of the week. I appreciate you guys for watching. I will see you Wednesday with Scorpio Mo for Dating Diaries. We have a great guest. His name is Just Jay. And we're going to be talking about, is it more important for the man to love the woman more, or the woman to love the man more? Which case is more successful? We're going to talk about that in relationships on Wednesday at 8. I'll see you guys there. Have a great night, and make sure that you like this on your way out, and I'll see you Wednesday. All right.